We had some big stuff happen in the 2025 NFL draft. We still get first rounds. We still win the first round. We've got 17 straight years with Booker and Campbell. Booker's a Cowboy, and we got Campbell as an Eagle. But the third round, this is where the magic's really happening. Jalen Milroe is a Seahawk. Although, to be honest, I was thinking he'd be a Ram before a Seahawk. But the takeaway for me was he got drafted before Sheduer, and honestly, I'm glad he did.
Well, I mean, he's got a lot. I think he's got a lot more bring to the table. I mean, the guy is elusive, speed, and a lot of intangibles. I mean, both of them are smart. I think they're both smart, but I just think athletic-wise, and evidently the draft personnel, these professional people that analyze and whatever, they thought the same thing. Much better package to develop. And all of the, when you've got to look at too as a draft as what they're looking at is developing players who has the greatest potential in the future. They don't expect them to come in and turn the franchise around and all that kind of stuff. And when they do, it's Bryce, Carolina, and then you've got Tua down in it doesn't work that way. It's not a one-shot, one-season deal. So you're looking at the development of the player. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts. Same scenario. He's finally developed into, a good prototypical quarterback. So evidently the upside for Jalen and some of the others was a lot greater than Sheduer.
I agree with that. I feel like the Sheduer situation got just way, run into the ground. It went way too far. I mean, we know why it did because, being Deion's son and that he was projected so highly. But, I mean, if it was anybody else, no one would have even complained. Yeah, they would have been like, wow, this is a shock that, he fell so far. But people were just going way too far on the internet with that stuff. It was like it had nothing to do with the reasons that people were saying online. Mm-hmm. It's like, I agree with you, Coach. Like, it had to do with Jalen Milroe and the other quarterbacks being perceived to be better. Like, they just didn't see it in Sheduer. I mean, Sheduer took a lot of hits in college. He doesn't run that much. He's kind of got a small frame. There's a lot of negatives there. And Milroe, I mean, his talent and his ability, despite having a bad season this past year with a terrible system for Jalen Milroe, I mean, he does have still a lot more upside. So I think I even said it on this show a couple weeks ago that I felt Milroe was going to go third round. That's where I thought he was going to go. I think I froze for a minute, but I said Milroe was going to go in the third round. That's where I felt that he was going to go. So I was not shocked that he got drafted where he did. I think, like Jackson said, I'm kind of shocked that he went to the Seahawks. But I think overall where he was drafted in that part of the draft kind of makes sense because he still has a lot of upside. But with the season he just had, that's why he didn't get drafted earlier. But third round to me made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then the thing too, you look at, I don't understand Cleveland. You got a veteran quarterback. You've got a backup quarterback that is a veteran, and then you was it Dillon
Gabriel from Oregon.
Yeah, and then at the end of the draft, you've already got your third team quarterback supposedly, or fourth team, depends on how you look at it. And so all of a sudden you're going to draft another quarterback, and so it made no sense to me. And but I'll be honest with you, I did a deep dive. Now I haven't paid much attention to Sheduer. I don't give a flip about Colorado, but I took a deep dive into taking a look at his talent level and what he skill and that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about it. But he's got some work to be done with regard to his skill development and technique. It's a lot of technique issues that, as a guy that's coached quarterbacks, that I can understand where as a quarterback he may have dropped significantly, because there's a lot of technique issues that he's got to overcome.
Oh yeah,
I agree. I mean, a lot of his throws were off. Like the throws are wobbly. They're not consistent. And because he was Deion's son and played for Deion, all that kind of stuff, that's why all that happened. I mean, Bronny should have never been drafted at all, and he got drafted just because being LeBron's son. It was the only reason he got drafted. I mean, Sheduer is a lot better than Bronny. I mean, he's actually a good player, but I don't think, again, if it was anyone else, being drafted in the 5th round would have been all that bad. I mean, he's still, he got drafted. He's going to have a shot to prove himself. I think the Brown situation is a joke, though. It's hilarious. Like, they've had 40 different starting quarterbacks since 1999, and now they have 5 different quarterbacks. They got Deshaun Watson.
Somebody's getting cut.
You got Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Sheduer. Somebody's got to work out, right? What if none of them work out?
But, and the whole deal was Cleveland didn't need. I mean, why would they waste a pick? They didn't need another quarterback. They'd already made that decision.
Well, gentlemen,
hey, Jack, let's look into let's dive into Sheduer and get some technique issues. I sent you some pictures. Yeah. All right. Now, one thing I see right here, look at the way he grips the ball. Do you see it right there? Look at that finger way up on the top of the ball. His hand is way up toward the cone of the ball. Well, I mean, that right there is just a recipe for wobbles. Okay. There's a classic way, a classic grip that we, foundation, fundamental. You start with the fundamentals, then you can develop and, all this other kind of stuff. So look at that grip right there, the finger way up. I've always heard the stuff with Terry Bradshaw about gripping the point of the ball and stuff. I don't know. I've never really looked at it, but look the way he grips the ball, those 4 fingers right there. Then now go to Aaron Rodgers, who has the classic grip that most you start with. All right. And so if I can show you, you see what the classic grip is right there. Top, you got your index finger at the top. Now, it's a fat ball right there. That's an NFL ball. It's pretty fat. And so we always said, look at the second finger. All right. Top finger. The second finger, we called it top 2-5. And so now come to me, Jack. Let me show you with my hand. I got a ball right here. I'm going to grip it and show you. So look right here. All right, so here's football, that kind of stuff. So we call it top right here. All right, so there's 1, 2. So the index goes here. Then the second finger, this one right here, goes on the top right there. And then this one, the third or fourth finger rather, goes top 2. So you go down, here's 1, 2. And then the pinky finger goes right there. We say top 2, 5. Top 2, and then 3, 4, 5. There's the classic grip right there. Now, this finger right here, I don't know about putting it way up there. I think you're going to want it pushing too much. This way, what we want to do is when we release it, we want to pronate it, which means we want to turn our hand out. And so the classic grip they knew this. I mean, guys, they've been studying how to throw a spiral since the 1930s, 40s, 50s. I mean, it's everybody knows, but in today's world, it's kind of gotten crazy with it. But you see right there, top 2, 5. Now go back to Aaron Rodgers. All right. So he's a little above the top because he's got a big hand. But look at the 2. Do you see countdown? 1, 2, 3. You see his pinky? Right down there, 5. Top 2, 5. That's the classic grip. Now go back to Sheduer. And you'll see, no, the first one, right there. Look at his. You see the stripe? Mm-hmm. Okay. He's almost got the fourth finger top 2, 5, but you see right there. So the first finger, I think is a little too high. It's going to create a wobble. The second finger should be at the top of the laces. Then the third finger that you see right there should be at 2, and then the pinky should be at 5. And so it's not a fundamental grip. So anyway, and then the way in which he releases the ball, go to the third or fourth one. And so you look at his left hand, the off hand. Do you see it right there? Okay. See how it's right near his chest, that left hand? Okay. Now come back to me. Okay, so if I'm throwing the ball, so what happens is when I throw the ball, I want some shoulder action, hip action to generate torque. All right, wham, that kind of stuff. So I want this hand coming across. So watch this right here. He's throwing the ball and the hand is staying here. Mm-hmm. See where that left hand is right here. So he's not generating power, rotation, to create that pass or whatever. So you're seeing him. So now go to the other ones, and you'll see it's consistent. And then we'll get to the video. Look at his left hand. Okay, he's not generating any shoulder torque.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that ball, and you want that snap. I mean, you want that power. It comes in shoulder rotation. Look at his left hand. Look at the fingers limp. That means that whole left arm is limp. If your fingers are limp, your entire shoulder is limp.
Apparently, I got something that just added on my phone. This is from On3, and I'm not joking when I'm talking about this. Mm-hmm. But anybody watch the CFL, the Canadian Football League? Well, the Toronto Argonauts have added Sheduer Sanders to their Canadian Football League negotiation list. This is from Dave Naylor at TSN.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it gives something exciting for Chris Berman to talk about when he does if Sheduer Sanders can win like the Grey Cup, which I doubt that's not going. I doubt that'll happen. They'll get tired of him real quick.
Now, lastly, Jack, and I'll get off this little soapbox, but what I'm trying to tell you guys is there's some technique issues going on with regard to this. Okay, and with the attitude in the interviews, and so if you're looking, just trying to be open-minded, and you're thinking to yourself, how open is he going to be to correcting this? Or is he so, I don't care, it gets there, all that other kind of stuff. But, I mean, you can see these are some glaring issues. So now pop in the video if it works. I hope it works.
Do you want to be at current speed or?
Yeah, just regular, because it's going to show you're going to see several clips here. Look at his left hand. See it right at his chest? Mm-hmm. I want you to watch the left hand. See how low it is? Yeah. See, no shoulder. See, he doesn't pull the shoulder through. Lazy. See that left hand? And then lastly, watch one more time. He releases at his ear. That one he was a little more over the top. But you can right there. See, look at his elbow. A little taller. But look at that left hand, guys. Look at that, and look at the fingers. They're kind of limp. Okay.
Yeah, his left hand is limp.
See me right there in the corner. If I'm gonna throw the ball and generate some speed, I'm gonna open that shoulder up, bam, snap that thing off, and you're gonna see these fingers extended. I mean, tight, not limp like a loose goose. So he's got some issues, guys. This is at a pro day.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I do agree with the sentiment of the attitude and all that kind of the ego and kind of stuff like that. And I do think a lot of that's carried from Deion because the way Deion is. I mean, Deion's a fantastic player. We know that. But him saying stuff on my son's going to go top 5 and stuff like that last year, it kind of just breathes that arrogance to his son as well, unfortunately. And when you have a guy with flaws and you are arrogant, Sheduer's not going to, like you said, going to, listen to the criticisms that they're going to have of his game. Like, hey, you need to, throw the ball a better way. You need to grip the ball in a certain way. He might, if he doesn't listen to those things, then he's never going to be a great player. If he does, then he'll have a chance. But it's not likely, though. I hope he does. But, I mean, based off what we know about Sheduer, it's not likely.
Well, the problem with Sheduer is, number one, he's not his father, because his father had, the one thing that Sheduer does not have, and the one thing that is the most prized possession in NFL and professional sports, and that's speed. And so Deion could talk the talk because the guy could run like the wind, and Sheduer does not have that. And so you can't be, Deion could back it up because he had that asset, that he had that chip, he had that card, he had the card in the pocket, as Trump says, but Sheduer does not have that. And so you got to be a lot more open-minded because, really in the pocket, he's lazy, very lazy in the pocket. I mean, I was shocked because I told you I didn't take a deep dive into it. I don't care about Colorado football, but I'm sorry for some people may be watching or whatever. So I didn't pay much attention. But now when I go in and I know a little bit about, that position, I look and I see a lot of flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
and Jalen Milroe, he didn't have a rich daddy. He doesn't have, that he worked more with less. I mean, yeah, his offensive line not being able to protect him dropped his draft stock quite a lot, but he didn't sit and throw a fit or say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to draft night."
Yeah, and he wasn't cocky. He didn't have that attitude and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And I saw an interview with Sheduer, and they asked him, who's your favorite team? The team that picks me. Who's your favorite player? Deion Sanders. Who's your blah, blah, blah? Who's your whatever? My brother, Shiloh or whatever. It was all Sanders. I mean, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, again, it's the family, mostly coming from Deion that breeds that egoness, egotisticalness. And it's a shame because I think overall, like you said, Deion has that right and ability to back it up. But now when he's bringing it on to his family, it doesn't help because they don't. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't even like arrogance when you can back it up, but people let it slide when you can back it up. Most people let it slide.
And here's another problem. Okay. Deion is their agent. He and Shiloh, ever how many Sheduer, he's their agent. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, are you kidding me? Daddy's your agent. So I mean, it's a family affair. I love the tightness of the family, but I mean, it's now gotten privileged and it doesn't wash. People now that it's out in the open, people are, it's just Deion can pull it off, but the rest of the guys, come on.
Yeah, and I really hope Sheduer learns from his mistakes, but we're gonna wait and see. But as for Jalen, I want to see if he can make some magic at the Seahawks, because I mean it's not like with Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll's over in Vegas now. Seahawks got a different man and Coach McDonald.
Yeah. Well, and Milroe has a totally different mindset. Smart guy, humble, family, veterans. He admits mistakes. He's not going to be boisterous. Greatest living legend. All that kind of stuff. So he's a guy that's going to learn. He's going to be open-minded. He's going to say, okay, I'll give it a try, but I'm not sure what's going on. And then it seems like that Daddy Deion's too much involved in the kids. And so if somebody, quarterback coach in the NFL says you need to, you can't whatever, and then he's going to, Daddy, what do you think? It seems like they're going to go to Daddy, and it's Daddy's decision.
Yeah, and like Deion was not a quarterback either. It's like if Deion was a quarterback, then it would be completely different. Be like, all right, if Deion was one of the best of all time.
Oh, face freeze.
Like directly teach Sheduer, like, hey, he's not right. Like he can't show him how to throw a football because he played a completely different position. So it's just, unfortunately, it's just a bad situation for Sheduer because in a way, I almost feel bad for players like him and Bronny in a way because of the fact that their parents hurt them. As much as they help them, they also hurt them. They help them by getting noticed, but then they hurt them because they limit their ability to become the best they can be because they're already being told how great they are.
These guys,
thought, just to be independent with your thinking. Like I saw, he's got some quarterback coach and blah, 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 and that kind of stuff. Well, as a quarterback coach having to go through Deion first, you need to, he's fine. It's just if you arrive, everything's good. Who cares?
But yeah, like looking back at Milroe, how are we feeling about the Seahawks getting him? Is it good, or should the Steelers have got it? Because I'm kind of feeling like the Steelers should have gotten him, and I'm thinking DK Metcalf is wanting to strangle his agent after that whole ordeal. Like it's like I'm stuck with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. Good God.
I don't think it's bad him going to the Seahawks. I mean, he's in a situation where if he develops, he'll have a chance to play. He'll have a chance to actually start because their quarterback, if I believe, there's been so many trades, there's been a lot of movement that I can barely remember who's where anymore. But Sam Darnold's at the Seahawks right now. Sam Darnold is not elite in any way, shape, or form. He's at best good, fair to good, right? Like he had a good season last year at the Vikings, and they got rid of him. But for the vast majority of his career, he's been mid. But at best, he's baseline okay to good. So if Darnold struggles again, then if Milroe again proves himself and develops, he'll have a chance to play. I think that's a good situation to be in, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're never going to play, right? Kind of like when Jimmy Garoppolo was at the Patriots, right? Like he was going to sit behind Brady forever, so he left, right? That doesn't really make you better either, because when you just have to go somewhere else to play, it's best when you're in a situation where you're behind somebody that if you fight like mad to play, and you grind and you do all the work that you need to do, you can pass that guy because he's not elite, right? So I think it's actually a pretty good situation. Now, whether it works out or not, only time will tell. Milroe's got a lot of things he's got to get better at, obviously, but I think with his attitude and the effort he's going to put in, he'll have a chance at the very least to play.
Eventually. Oh, yeah. I mean, the NFC West, I'm curious to see where that's going to be for 2025. I mean, like the 49ers finished last in 2024. I don't know where they're going to be. Cardinals, I mean, they're moving on up. Seahawks, they're the Seahawks for now. The Rams, they should have planned ahead.
They're still catching up Kansas City.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
I mean, then who's going to attrition, whatever. I see Kansas City's still going to be there and that kind of stuff. And then over in the NFC, I don't. Who's going to take over from Philadelphia? I'm not sure.
Well, it's probably Washington. It's not going to be Dallas or New York. That's for sure.